Discover the shocking actions of Rome's wild emperor, Elagabalus. In the long and often brutal history of the Roman Empire, few emperors stand out as bizarrely as Elagabalus. A ruler whose reign was marked by excess, scandal, and sheer madness, Elagabalus was unlike any emperor before or after him. His actions were so shocking that even in a world accustomed to decadence and cruelty, he managed to earn a reputation as one of Rome's most outrageous rulers. How did this teenage emperor manage to turn Rome upside down? What bizarre and depraved acts led to his infamous downfall? And why is his reign still discussed with equal parts fascination and horror today? Let's uncover the truth behind Rome's most scandalous emperor, Elagabalus. The rise of a teenage emperor. Elagabalus was born in 204 AD in Emesa, modern-day Homs, Syria, a region known for its deep religious traditions. His birth name was Varius Avitus Bassianus, and he was a high priest of the god Elagabalus, a deity worshipped in Syria as a sun god. His rise to power was nothing short of extraordinary. After the assassination of Emperor Caracalla in 217 AD, the Roman throne was taken by Macrinus, a general with no blood ties to the Severan dynasty. However, Elagabalus's grandmother, Julia Maesa, saw an opportunity. She fabricated a claim that Elagabalus was the illegitimate son of Caracalla, which gave him a supposed right to rule. With her influence and the support of loyal Syrian legions, Elagabalus was declared emperor in 218 AD, deposing Macrinus. But Rome had no idea what kind of ruler was about to take the throne. A reign of madness and excess. From the moment Elagabalus arrived in Rome, chaos followed. He was just 14 years old, but he quickly proved himself to be one of the most extravagant, eccentric, and outright unhinged rulers in Roman history. The emperor who married a Vestal Virgin. One of the most scandalous acts of Elagabalus was his marriage to a Vestal Virgin, a move that was strictly forbidden by Roman law. The Vestal Virgins were priestesses of Vesta who took a vow of chastity for 30 years. Breaking this vow was punishable by burial alive. Yet Elagabalus, obsessed with shocking Rome, married Aquilia Severa, a Vestal Virgin, claiming that their union would produce divine children. The outrage was so immense that even the Roman Senate, accustomed to imperial scandals, was left horrified. Turning Rome into a religious circus. As a high priest of Elagabalus, Elagabalus was determined to make his foreign sun god the supreme deity of Rome. He went so far as to replace Jupiter, the king of the Roman gods, with Elagabalus. He built a massive temple, the Elagabalium, on the Palatine Hill, and forced leading senators to participate in rituals to his foreign god. He even ordered that the most sacred relics of Roman religion, including the Palladium, a statue of Athena said to protect Rome, be transferred to the temple of Elagabalus, infuriating the Roman elite. The emperor who thought he was a goddess. Elagabalus wasn't just a devotee of his god. He saw himself as a divine being. Some accounts suggest he often dressed as a woman, referred to himself as a goddess, and even prostituted himself in the imperial palace. He was said to have asked doctors if it was possible to undergo gender reassignment surgery, making him one of history's earliest recorded figures expressing transgender identity. In his quest to fully embody the goddess Venus, he allegedly offered large sums of money to anyone who could perform a surgery to transform him into a woman. The bizarre dinner party of death. Elagabalus was infamous for his extravagant feasts. But one particularly disturbing tale claims that he once invited guests to a banquet only to release wild animals into the dining hall for his own amusement. Lions, leopards, and bears terrorized the guests, some of whom were reportedly killed or injured. The emperor, laughing, considered it a hilarious joke. Another time he showered guests with rose petals, but he dumped so many that some people allegedly suffocated and died. A husband to many, including his own slave. Elagabalus married 5 times, including his shocking union with a Vestal Virgin. However, his true love was not a noblewoman, but a charioteer named Hierocles, a former slave. Elagabalus publicly referred to Hierocles as his husband, and even tried to crown him as emperor, which scandalized Rome even further. He also surrounded himself with exotic lovers, dancers, and entertainers, focusing more on pleasure and extravagance than on ruling the empire. The bloody downfall of Rome's most scandalous emperor. By 222 AD, after 4 years of utter chaos, the Roman military and Senate had had enough. Even Elagabalus's powerful grandmother, Julia Maesa, realized that his behavior was endangering the dynasty. She switched her support to his cousin, Alexander Severus, and convinced the Praetorian Guard to turn against the emperor. One day, when Elagabalus and his mother went to the Praetorian camp to quell rumors of a coup, the soldiers turned on them. The 16-year-old emperor was dragged out, beaten, and brutally executed. His head was cut off, and his body was thrown into the Tiber River, a final humiliation for an emperor whose rule had been defined by decadence and scandal. The legacy of Elagabalus, Rome's most infamous emperor. The Roman Senate quickly erased his name from history, declaring damnatio memoriae, meaning all records of him were to be destroyed. However, his shocking rule was never forgotten. Elagabalus became a symbol of excess, insanity, and the dangers of unchecked power. While some modern historians argue that his religious reforms and personal identity should be viewed in a more nuanced light, the sheer chaos of his rule remains one of the most bizarre chapters in Roman history. Was Elagabalus simply a misunderstood religious radical, or was he truly one of Rome's most depraved and unfit rulers? His life and reign continue to fascinate historians and storytellers, proving that even 2,000 years later, Rome's wildest emperor still captivates the world. What do you think about Elagabalus's shocking reign? Was he a victim of bias, or was he as scandalous as history remembers? Let us know in the comments.